If you often find yourself struggling because you have many things to do, fighting for your time to actually do the things that you really want to do, not knowing where to start and always being stressed because you have so many things to do and it seems like you don't have enough time, then this video will help you to achieve more by doing less. And you probably don't know who I am. My name is Andrea Poneri, and in the last few months and years, I've been researching a lot and especially experimenting a lot on productivity. And what I found out on myself is that there are three main principles, or I should call them laws, that will enable you to do so much and achieve so much in so little time that people will start wondering how you did it. And so now you may ask yourself, but is it really possible to achieve more by doing less? And to respond to that question, let me tell you a story. Imagine literally being one of my classmates, seeing me that when the teacher explains about things that will come to an exam, I'm there doing my things. And when the teacher gives us time to work and to prepare for the exam, I'm doing my things. And just the day before the exam, you see me starting really to focus 100% on the exam, understanding everything and really focusing on the most important theory. And you think to yourself, this guy must be crazy. This guy will never pass the exam. And so the next day comes and you are there stressed, come through the exam and think, oh, I've studied a whole month for it. I don't want to fuck up. And you see me there fully relaxed, knowing that I haven't studied that much. 2 weeks pass and you get your grade. You get a good grade. You look to me and this little bastard. And bro, it's definitely possible. In this video, I will explain you how I do less in less time and achieve more. The first law of productivity is know less. On a daily basis, we come across an immense amount of information. And I was literally one of the people who wanted to know everything and thought that knowing more was better. But then I realized that most information that I came across and that I stored in my mind were unimportant for my goals, were negative, were actually harming me and were useless in the moment. And so I had to actually go back to them when I will actually use them. And so we have to ask ourselves a question. Do we just want to know things or do we want to achieve our goals? Because if you, like I do, actually want to achieve your goals, actually want to make immense output, then we should limit the input of information that we have. That is at least what I've seen on myself and what I've learned from many productivity books and YouTube videos and articles. And so how do we do it? The three main implementable steps to know less but actually achieve more are the following ones. The first one is to, you guessed it, not look at social media. And I know what you're thinking right now, I cannot do that. So I'm not telling you to stop watching social media forever. I'm giving you a challenge. Just try it out for 1 week. 1 week, bro. That's not the end of the world. But you will see how much more mental clarity you will have. Because the thing is that when we spend our time on, let's say, Instagram, watching 200 reels, thinking, oh yeah, it's self-improvement reels, so I'm making progress. But are we really? We watch those 200 reels, spend 1 hour of our time, and at the end we remember maybe one. But the one we remember is totally useless. So we don't even use the thing that we remember and we just forget about it in an hour or two. Then the second actionable step is to always ask yourself when you come across any kind of information, it doesn't matter if it is social media, it doesn't matter if someone tells you something, if you're reading something, if you're watching a YouTube video like this one. Is this information really helpful for me right now? Can I use it right now to solve one of my problems? And if so, how? And the third actionable step is to actually always only go in search for information that you need to solve a specific problem of yours. So if you want to learn the planche, you don't go and watch some planche compilations. You go and watch how to learn step by step the planche as a beginner, for example. And so when it comes to the first rule of productivity, it's not about knowing a lot of things. It's about knowing the right things, the things that you can use right now. And by the way, as a bonus, I've put the summary of this video with all the implementable steps and the most important key points in the description down below. And so if you're the kind of person who wants to really change and not just watch some self-improvement videos just for mental masturbation, then go down there and do the implementable steps as soon as you've finished watching this video. Then we come to the second rule of productivity, which is called do less. And now you may ask yourself, yeah, but how do I achieve more by doing less? And so let me explain. The thing is that we often forget the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. So efficiency means that you do a lot of things very fast. Effectiveness, on the other hand, means that you actually do the right things to achieve your goals. And why is that important? That is important because of the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule says that 20% of the input, so the things we do, will actually bring 80% of the outputs, of the achievements. And 80% of the things we do will actually only bring 20% of the achievements. And so it sounds logical to focus on that 20% right there. And so I used to be one of those people who wanted to fill every moment with something which I thought was productive and doing multitasking, doing many things at the same time, when in reality I just had to prioritize the 20% and actually was able to achieve many more things. And so when it comes to the 3 main actionable steps of the second law of productivity, the first actionable step is actually to understand what your goals are. Because if you don't know what you want to achieve, then you will do many things. You will be very efficient, but you will not go in a specific direction. And so you will not really achieve anything. So we have to know what we want to achieve to get to the second step, which is to identify the 20% that will bring the 80% of the results. And so how do we actually identify that 20%? We identify them by asking ourselves, if I could only do the 2 most important things of the day, what would they be? And so when you want to identify those 2 most important things of the day, you can ask yourself, can I also achieve my goal if I don't do that thing? And am I just procrastinating the important work because I fear it, because it feels too difficult? Then we come to the third actionable step of the do less, which is to only focus on the 20% that you have identified. You will have to really be very attentive and ruthless and double down on that. That's all there is to it. Then we come to the third law of productivity, which is to plan less time for it. You may ask yourself, what do you mean by that? Let me explain. The person who actually invented the 80-20 rule also invented, or I should say discovered, another very key principle. So the 80-20 rule tells us that by focusing on the 20% that brings the 80% of output, we will actually reduce the time we have to work. Sounds obvious. The other way around is that by reducing the time you actually work, so by setting very close deadlines, you will actually also reduce the work to the 20% that brings the 80%. And I know this may sound very obvious, but the thing is that every time I set myself a very limited work time, I've seen that I was much more effective, much more, because I just didn't have time to focus on the bullshit things. If I wanted to achieve the goal, then I had to focus on the most important things. And so the only actionable step I have for you is to set very short deadlines for the work you have to do. Always do the hardest thing, the hardest task of the day, the first thing in the morning, and you will see how much more effective you will be. And if you actually follow this video's advice, you will actually see that you will become the person which people wonder how he did it to achieve that thing in so little time. No one will know, but you will know how. But that will only work if you actually implement this advice. But if you've watched this video until to this point, I know that you will, because you're not the kind of person who just wants to, know many things and do some work and not really achieve anything. You actually want to achieve your goals. You want to get output, not just input. And so you're probably kind of similar to me. You probably want to live a more natural, a happier, a more purposeful and full life, don't you? If that is the case and this video actually helped you on that way, then subscribe to this channel, because I will give you everything I learned and everything I know on that way. And remember the most important thing, bro. We could literally die today, bro. Literally. So why not living it like it? Why not being who we want to be, doing what we want to do? And most importantly, feeling every single moment to 100%. Wish you all the best and see you in the next video, bro.